Michael, thank you for your patience. So just to reiterate what happened earlier for our viewers, that pilots were warned to avoid Chinese military vessels after live fire exercises were being conducted in waters between Australia and New Zealand. The Prime Minister there saying that Australia had been alerted, or China had issued a notice that it would indeed be conducting these live fire exercises. But now Penny Wong will be making diplomatic representations to find out whether or not something else has occurred outside of that time frame, Michael. But I mean, the fact that we've got commercial planes being diverted, does that suggest to you that something has happened here?
Well, according to the Prime Minister, nothing to see here. Absolutely nothing to see here, which stretches all of our collective sense of credulity. I mean, look, we know Anthony Albanese is a weak leader. He's a weak Prime Minister. He could speak for half an hour, and by the end of it, you'd walk away thinking, what on earth has he said? We're in very dangerous times, and I think that was the prime example of why Australians have lost confidence in his leadership, because he doesn't show any leadership. He basically told us there he's spoken to Richard Marles, he's spoken to Penny Wong, but nothing to see here. Look, I think it's extraordinary that he wasn't able to explain to Australians in more detail what on earth is going on, and more importantly, what on earth his government is doing. He was very keen to emphasise, international law. I can't remember, and I stand corrected, but I just can't remember an instance like this before. So, just like Richard Marles, it just seems as though they want to sweep this under the rug. I'm unsurprised by it. Perhaps instead of doing a 90-minute podcast, our Prime Minister should convene the National Security Committee of Cabinet and actually do his day job, and keeping Australians safe and keeping Australia itself as a sovereign nation safe is his first duty. So a bit less time on the lifestyle podcasts and a bit more time in the National Security Committee of Cabinet is the best advice I could give him.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. 90 minutes spent on a fluff piece podcast versus actual serious issues that are happening. Clearly, this is one of them. You're right. It felt like he swept that one under the rug. But as I reiterated, we will be keeping our viewers up to date with this unfolding situation where these commercial flights have now been impacted and diverted. So do stay with us on this program. Michael, I do want to get back, though, to what we were talking about earlier about migration, because I feel like the time for pleasantries has really ended. I mean, if you don't like this country, then you don't deserve to be here, right?
Well, you see the stark difference in leaders. Peter Dutton makes it very clear. If you hate this country, if you hate our values, you don't need to be here. We've got countless numbers of people who would love to enjoy the freedoms, the prosperity, the values that this country offers. My family are one of those. We have a great migrant success story, but it's only a success story because we've had people who've come here who've had values consistent with ours, who have wanted to join the team, not change the team, who've left their hang-ups and baggage behind. Quite frankly, if you hate our values, you're not welcome here. And I think the leadership and strength that Peter Dutton shows in defending our country is in stark contrast to that word salad we just saw from the Prime Minister, where he sort of says to every answer a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B, and you don't really know what on earth he's trying to say. Peter Dutton's made very clear that, citizenship, I think, whether you're born here like I am or whether you're a migrant here like my father was, citizenship is a real privilege. And it's a privilege that if you're going to abuse and you're going to threaten fellow Australians and you're going to bring an insidious ideology to this country, it's a privilege you should lose, in my view, if you're not someone who stands by the values of our country.
Absolutely. We are a wonderful country, and if you don't like it, then you don't have the right to be here. You should go. I completely agree. Michael Sukkar, we really appreciate your time with us this evening. Thank you so much for joining me on the show.